So good morning everybody. Welcome for our lesson today. And today we want to talk about citizenship. I think yesterday we talked about, or the other day we talked about international organizations like we have the United Nations. We talked about formation of the United Nations, the reasons why they were formed. We also looked at the Commonwealth. Then we said Commonwealth is an organization which is used to unite all former colonies of the Britain. The headquarters is found in London, that's United Kingdom or England. And then we say that they have also roles played socially, politically, then economically. Remember also they organize games after 4 years, like that. So today we want to look at citizenship. We shall define who is a citizen now. A citizen is a person who has a right to belong to a given country. For example, I'm a Kenyan. I have a right to belong there because of some reasons, because I was born in Kenya. My parents are Kenyans. That's what we're talking about. So a citizen is a person who has a right to belong to a given country. So then we have citizenship is a right to belong to a given country. That's what we call a right. But we are saying that now when a person has a right to belong to a given country, that's what we call citizen. Citizenship is the right now to belong to a given country. Then we have two major ways of becoming a Kenyan citizen. Two major ones. So number one, by birth. So you can become a Kenyan citizen by birth. That's why when you see a person when he's born, there is what you call a birth certificate, a place where he was born or where she was born, the year, the doctor. Then we have also the name of the parents and the full name of the child. That is now the certificate to show that you are a Kenyan citizen by birth. Then how can a person become a Kenyan citizen by birth? Number one, if one parent is a Kenyan during the time of birth, then this person can become a Kenyan citizen automatically. So remember that a child found below 18 of 80 years or below, a child found of 80 years and below, then the nationality is not known, and then also the parents are not known, is assumed to be a Kenyan citizen by birth. So in case we find a child somewhere and this child is below 80 years, that child is assumed by the government to be a citizen by birth. So remember that. Then we have another way of becoming a citizen of Kenya is through what you call registration. Registration, you apply, then you become a Kenyan citizen. We have some people who can apply this. So number one, adopted child by the Kenyan parents. So we have some families where people cannot get children, or the couples cannot have children, so they can adopt a child. Remember, this child has no birth certificate, so they can adopt the child from anywhere in the hospital and so on. And then they raise this child as their own. So this child can register as a Kenyan citizen. So through registration, they apply for the government to register the child as a Kenyan citizen. And then a foreign married to a Kenyan citizen. For example, if a woman is get married to a Kenyan man, or a man get married to a foreign woman, then that person, after staying in the country for around 7 years, so around 7 years when he stays in the country and fulfills to be a good person, then he can register to be a Kenyan citizen by registration. So a foreign woman married to a Kenyan citizen registers as a citizen of Kenya. Then we have, if she only stays around 7 years, then I have said that so that the government can confirm that this person is a good citizen. Then if a person is born outside the country, then also he can register as a Kenyan citizen, because there is no anything that shows that he is a Kenyan citizen. So she applies. If the child was born outside Kenya, applies. So that's how to become a Kenyan citizen. Those are the two major ones, but we shall add the one which is not very Then how one may lose a citizenship. How one may lose citizenship. And those who can lose citizenship, there are those registered members, meaning most of them, they are not Kenyans, they are foreigners, but they have been maybe good people. The government can register them, but they can lose their citizenship. But a person by birth cannot lose Kenyan citizenship. It's only but when you go wrong against the law, you will also be punished according to the constitution or the law of the land, but you cannot lose your citizenship. Those people who lose their citizenship are those registered members. So we want to see what makes them to lose their citizenship. Number one, if one acquired citizenship through what you call fraud or corruption. So it is here. Fraud is corruption. Maybe this person may have presented a false document. So presentation of false document, if the government realized that you are registered through corruption, maybe you gave something to the officers that got out the registration, then at the end of the day you will lose your citizenship because that is illegal according to the law. Then we have number two, how one can lose a citizenship. If one carries out secrets of the country with the enemies. Enemies can be the neighboring countries. Maybe you are a Kenyan citizen, you have been registered as a Kenyan, but it is found that maybe you are involving in criminal activities. So at the end of the day, you lose your citizenship because you are threatening the security of the nation or state. That's a problem. So you may lose your citizenship. Then number three, if one is jailed before 5 years after registration. Now, we have said you stay in Kenya for around 7 years, you become a good citizen, then you are registered as a Kenyan citizen. But now before 5 years, before the end of 5 years, let us assume maybe you registered in 2012 as a Kenyan citizen, but 2015 you already been captured by the government, you are imprisoned. Then it means you are not a good citizen. So you may end up losing your citizenship before 5 years after registration. If you are arrested, then it means there's a problem. So the government may reverse its decision. If one is convicted with the treason, so treason is betraying your country. Maybe you have betrayed the country, you are trading with the enemies, you are carrying out secrets. So these are what you call treason. Treason is betraying your own country. You don't want good for your country. You are not a patriotic person. So that one you may lose your citizenship. So those are ways through which a Kenyan can lose his citizenship, and especially those who are registered the way you have said. So remember that. Then we have another one called the one also may acquire citizenship in other countries or two. So we have a Kenyan can acquire citizenship of more than 2 countries or 2. So we have what you call dual citizenship. Dual citizenship is having citizenship of 2 countries. For example, take an example of those people living outside the country or those players living in abroad. They can live in those countries for very many years, and if they qualify according to the constitution of those countries, then they can register, they become citizen of those countries. At the same time, they can lose the citizenship of the Kenya as their motherland. So that we call it the dual citizenship. So remember that. But we have some members of the state who cannot acquire dual citizenship. For example, we have the president. The president is the head of state in a democratic republic like Kenya. So our Kenyan president, Mr. Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, cannot go to America to stay there or to acquire citizenship in that country because he's serving the people in the country and they depend on him. The deputy president, Mr. Honorable William Ruto, cannot do the same. So the deputy president cannot do that. Then we have defense forces, the army, the KDF, the GSU. Those people who are protecting the people or the citizen of Kenya cannot go, then they acquire dual citizenship because those are the people who needs to protect the lives of the individuals in Kenya. Then we have the Attorney General, the head of law department in Kenya. He cannot acquire citizenship in other countries. Then we have the head of judiciary, that is Chief Justice. So those are some of the senior state officers who cannot acquire citizenship for other countries or dual citizenship. So remember that. I think that's all about citizenship. And then we shall start something else, and this is what we call another topic called democracy and human rights. So we shall define what is democracy. We shall also talk about democracy, and then we see how it is. Now, democracy is where we elect our leaders through election. Like Kenya is a republic, is a democratic republic. After 5 years, we normally go for general election, where we elect some members. Like the president, we have the members of parliament, those are MP to the National Assembly. We have the senators, we have MCA representing the ward at the civic level. Then we have also the women rep representing the county. Then we have the governor, the president of the developed government, that's the county, and so on. So that is what we call democracy, where we elect citizens or leaders. And it does not mean it's only a country. It can be even a group, a number of people, even in schools. We carry out, there is democracy in schools. We shall look at that. Then here, the citizens make a decision. So democracy, the citizens are the one to make a decision. They make a decision through electing their leaders, whom they want. They also make a decision by telling their representative what they want on the ground. For example, take an example of the member of parliament. They will tell the member of parliament what they are experiencing. We don't have water on the ground. We don't have schools. We don't have hospitals. Then the representative, that is now the member of parliament, will have to address this issue to the house where they are helped. So remember that. So the citizen, the power lies in the hand of the citizens, because they are the one that elect the leaders. So remember that. Then in types of democracy, I just briefing this. We have what we call indirect democracy. It's also called representative democracy or a parliamentary democracy. Allow me to wrap this. That is indirect democracy. Indirect democracy is also called representative democracy. Then it's also called parliamentary democracy. So it's the same. This is the type of democracy we practice in Kenya. And indirect democracy is practiced where we have a large group of people. That is number one. So it's practiced where we have a large group of people. So indirect democracy is the one that we practice in Kenya. In Kenya, we practice indirect democracy because we normally elect our leaders. So indirect democracy is where we elect representatives to go and represent us. For example, all of the people in the constituency cannot go to the National Assembly to address their problem. So they elect one person whom we call the members of parliament, or that is MP, to go and represent them. When you come to the ward, we elect the ward or representative whom we call the member of county assembly, the MCA, to go and represent us. So they make decision on behalf of us. That's what we call indirect democracy. So this is the democracy we practice in Kenya. It's called indirect. Now, I think that's all about indirect democracy, but the same, we can also practice this indirect democracy in the school. How can you practice indirect democracy in the school? In school now. In school, we can also practice these types of democracy by electing prefects, or school leaders. Yeah. So the democracy have been brought to the lower level, the school, where we elect the prefects in the school, the head boy, we call the president. We have deputy head boy, we have the head girl, we have also the class representatives. Those are the prefect, those who are representing different classes. So we normally elect these people. That is how the indirect democracy is seen in the school. So remember that. Then another democracy is called direct democracy. Direct democracy is also called pure democracy, or you can call it participatory. Participatory comes from the word participating. So this one, we call it direct, pure, or participatory democracy. Now, direct democracy. Direct democracy is suitable for a small group of people, e.g., school, college, and university. So the direct democracy is good for college, schools, and democracy, where we have a small number of people. Now, direct democracy is where people make a decision themselves on matters affecting. Everybody participate. And that's why I have said direct democracy is also called participatory democracy. Participatory democracy. So participatory democracy is where every individual, every person participate in making decision on matters affecting them. Yeah. So every individual makes decision on matters affecting them. That's what we call indirect democracy, or direct democracy, sorry. For example, let us take an example of a social study class where the teacher can come in class and then ask the pupils, now, pupils, we want to go for a tour in Mombasa and Kisumu. Then where do you think we should go? Then somebody will raise up the hand. So you say Kisumu, Mombasa, Kisumu, Mombasa. So all these people, we are seeing that they are participating in the making decision. Then that's what you call direct, because everybody participates in making decision on matters affecting them. So remember that. Direct democracy in school. How can it be this seen in school? Number one, when making school rules. Then number two, when making class rules. So this is indirect democracy in school. Number one, when making class rules. Number two, when making school rules. For example, in class, the class teacher can come in class and then he says, now pupils, very many of you have been sleeping while the teacher are teaching. What do you think we should do to these people who are sleeping while the teachers are teaching? So somebody will carry up the hand in class and then he says, those people should be punished through caning them. Then somebody also will say they can't call their parents. Somebody will say let them fetch water to the kitchen as a punishment. So that one is direct democracy, because we are seeing that every individual in a class is contributing to decision making. Then making of school rules, for example, school rules, maybe the head teacher can stand up and then say, the school rules, what do you think we should do for those people who sneak outside the class, outside the school, sorry. Maybe they can buy a barbed wire to fence the school. They can buy one packet of cement, and so on. So that one is called direct democracy. Those are examples of democracy.